The views and opinions expressed by the following program are those of the host, guest, and callers and are not necessarily those of this station or the Webster Rockhill Ministries, its management, or other host or underwriting sponsors. Programs presented on KWRH-LP are for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back to In Tune. This is Arnold Strickler with Ellie Wharton. We're glad that you're tuning in to the second hour of our show. We have in studio, and he's dressed in a great cardinal outfit there.
I wonder how he got that.
Christopher Mohnani, who is the managing director of programs and community engagement for Dance St. Louis. Christopher, welcome to In Tune.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're glad to have you here.
We are glad to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm even wearing the shirt.
You're even wearing the Bob Gibson jersey. Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, you're looking great.
Awesome.
You know, I was thinking, the typical dance lines, gotta dance, or if you gotta dance St. Louis.
There you go.
If you gotta dance St. Louis. And folks, if you're not familiar with Dance St. Louis, since 1966, 53 years now of exceptional dance and educational opportunities for the community. They've had, over the years, the American Ballet Theater, the Hubbard Street Dance Chicago, Joffrey Ballet, River Dance, Dance Theater of Harlem, the Tap Dogs here, broad range of education programs. But I don't want to steal all the thunder from you because you're here for the interview. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit first about your background, because you never stopped being a dancer. You are a dancer. Right. You've just kind of stopped doing it professionally.
Right.
But tell us about your background.
Well, I'm very new to the organization, so I'm not 53 years old. So just
You're not?
FYI. No. Do I look like it?
I thought 63.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Same age as my mom.
That's right. Well, in some families, that could be.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, no, I moved to St. Louis from San Francisco.
All right.
I was born in Manila, Philippines, but I moved to Nashville, Tennessee after college. I was 18, and I was a dancer at Nashville Ballet, and that's pretty much where I spent my professional career. At Nashville Ballet, I was a principal dancer at Nashville Ballet. Prior to Nashville Ballet, I was dancing in Russia as well.
Wow, you've been around, haven't you?
Around,
Goodness, from Manila to Memphis to...
From Manila to Russia to Nashville, Tennessee.
To Nashville.
Yeah. So, when I retired from professional dance, I just transitioned into arts administration, and I was doing that in Nashville. I was doing that in San Francisco, and the opportunity to come help Dance St. Louis came about almost 2 years ago. No, a year and a half. It was in 2017. So I came, and now I am here with Dance St. Louis, enjoying, well, maybe not so much enjoying the Midwest weather, but
you know what?
Enjoying
Tomorrow
the city
it will
as well.
change. Don't worry.
That's right.
I hope so. So,
Every day. As a matter of fact, by the afternoon.
Oh, yeah?
It will change.
Yeah. So
did you retire from dancing because of physical?
No, you know, our life shelf is so short. We're just like athletes. Speaking of like the Cardinals, I mean, as soon as you hit 30, everybody starts talking about retiring already. I mean, we bang and we bash our bodies,
right,
8 hours a day, literally 8 hours a day. We're on our toes pretty much. And for male dancers, it's a lot harder. As you may know that there's a lot more female dancers, their careers go further than ours because we have to lift them.
Yeah, they don't have to catch anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Lift,
so I wanted to retire because I wanted to be proactive. I didn't want to have hip surgery or back surgery like when I'm 40. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's
it must
what I did.
Require an unbelievable amount of upper body strength.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cross training is imperative, and you always have to do a lot of other things in addition to your daily classes and exercises and rehearsals and choreography. So
now, see, that would be I could take you down that path for about a half an hour. I'm fascinated by like what is the regimen of a ballet dancer to stay in shape and to get in shape, and then to get from the point of like when you started. What age were you when you started?
Oh, gosh. 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He was already an old man.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
By the time I was 16, I was already like feeling like the brunt of it.
Yeah,
Wow.
because a lot of times, children start when they're like 3 and 4 years old.
Right.
In ballet and
well,
dance.
dance in itself, I remember every time somebody would ask me, what do you do? I said, oh, I'm a ballet dancer. No, what do you
Yeah,
do?
what do you
I was
really
like,
do?
No, that is what I do. It's a career. It's
Right.
a full-time career.
Sure
I mean,
it
we work
is.
40 hours a day. 40 hours a week. It's something that if you want to be professional, you need to start young. Otherwise, especially nowadays, the opportunities are not going to be there. Although dancers today, their careers can get longer because there's so much more resources available to them. When I was dancing, we had a physio, and that was it. Now they had like chiropractic and physical therapists, and they have each company now requires a gym. Each company requires trainers. So it's so much great for and better for them. So,
And I would think too that maintaining a proper diet, so that you keep your weight at a certain
Right.
place is important. Getting enough sleep.
True. When you're dancing, though, I remember when I was dancing, I was eating everything that I wasn't really watching my diet. I was too active. And speaking of sleeping, you're by the time like 6 o'clock comes in, you're just too tired. All you can do is like drive home and go to bed.
That's right.
So,
Drive
wow.
home and fall into bed.
Right. And then you wake up the next day, and then we're sort of in a bubble. So that was our life. So
Especially if you're in a traveling company.
yes, yeah. National Ballet is one of the bigger companies in the country. So we hardly travel because there's a season in Nashville that we
Okay.
do. Sometimes we do travel internationally, but most of the time, like, we just stay there.
Okay.
We have our contract was 42 weeks. So there are times like over the summer we're contractually laid off. So that's when most people kind of like actors serve tables or do other side gigs. So
42 weeks, though.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At least you get a chance to maybe take a vacation.
Yeah, I would
relax a little
I would
bit.
usually fly back to Manila,
Right.
dance or just visit family. So
I would think also there's an opportunity to teach some
yeah.
master classes,
Yeah.
things like that. That
or guest in other like companies.
yes,
So.
yeah, great.
So Dance St. Louis does do master classes. They have a lot of educational opportunities for high school students, but their main thrust is what?
Main thrust is presenting companies that otherwise the city wouldn't see. That's always been the vision of Dance St. Louis. Dance St. Louis primarily was built or created or started because the founders felt that there was a need for the city to be exposed and to experience world-class dance that normally they wouldn't pass through St. Louis. Midwest, they probably would go through Chicago, but not St. Louis. So when 53 years ago, they were thinking of making sure that St. Louis is an arts destination as well. So then St. Louis was created.
and we really are an arts destination.
Oh, yeah. Cultural
this is a great,
institutions here,
a
are
lot.
great.
Very visionary back then to be able to get that going and to keep it progressing.
Yeah.
Well, it goes along with our museums, with our
Absolutely.
parks and things like that, the green spaces. I think St. Louis, that's one thing when people, how often people say, I hate St. Louis, but when you go to other cities and you realize the real resources that are available here,
Right,
we've got
right.
a lot,
Yeah,
and a lot
there's
of
a
it is
lot.
not, it's not expensive to do.
True.
Now you have two big events of your season coming up. One is Pilobolus, and they're doing the Shadowland, the new adventure, which is a St. Louis premiere.
Right.
And then the other one is Spring to Dance Festival. Can you talk to us a little bit about each one of those, Christopher?
Yeah, Pilobolus is a world-class company that are primarily known for their shadow play. They perform in about 32 countries, and about over 1 million people have seen them. And what is exciting about them is the interplay between technology, bodies, and use of light in order to create images that sometimes are just fascinating to
They
see.
are crazy.
And you said you've seen them.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, these are dancers who like talk about bodies and like being, really, really in shape, and the stuff that they can do with their bodies are just amazing and phenomenal because they create shapes, they create letters, they create buildings just using their bodies. So,
And it looks real.
right.
It's incredible, the contortions and how they just turn their bodies and do all this
I
stuff.
believe American audiences have really been familiar with them because they were at the Oscars at one time, and they were the ones trying to recreate all the Oscar nominees for Best Picture.
Oh, cool.
So, and they're coming, and this is the continuation of a really popular show that they've done, Shadowland, and this is the second version of it.
So Pilobolus, was created the Shadowland was created in 2009 and premiered in Berlin and other extended engagements in Germany and in Europe. And these are going to be happening at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. That's on the University of Missouri St. Louis campus, and tickets are available through the ticket office at Two Hills. But that's, if I'm correct in my thinking here, no, I'm not correct in my thinking. I'm looking for the dates of that.
Oh, that's April 20th.
April 20th. So that's coming up. That's the one coming up.
2 Saturdays from now.
That's fabulous. And the tickets are really, the prices here are phenomenal.
$35, $45, $55, and $69.
I mean, it's not bad for something of that caliber and of that quality.
I mean, really, this is the cost of a manicure and a pedicure. Okay,
and,
really,
and 2 Starbucks.
That's
yes. There we go.
Touche.
2 Starbucks. That was great.
I mean, really. I mean, the price of it, you can't beat it because you would. Your choices are either to fly or drive to Chicago, that's the closest city, or New York or San Francisco in order to see acts or performances like that. And you have it here in our own backyard.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But driving to Chicago, I have found
Uh-huh.
that it's really cool to take the Amtrak.
Oh, I know. I love taking the train.
I love taking the train.
Yes.
Yeah, if you haven't done that to Chicago, man, that is a great way to go. It is just so relaxing, and by the time you get there,
It's convenient.
It's convenient. You're dropped off right in the center of town, and then you have your Uber. As soon as you get off the train, you hit your Uber driver. There you go.
Okay, I'll have to try that sometime.
Yes, you will.
So you can see Pilobolus on YouTube, but I tell you what, folks, there is nothing like seeing it in person because you see them get together and it's like, what are they doing? Then all of a sudden there's this, it's like, what?
And the great thing about them coming to your city is that they always try to localize something at the end of the show. So make sure for audiences that are going to come that have already bought tickets and those that are still planning on buying tickets, make sure to stay till the very, very end.
Were they going to become like the Arch?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, let's see. Well, I know what they could be. They could be the eagle on the Anheuser-Busch sign.
Could be.
Could be.
They could be the...
They could be the jersey I'm wearing right now.
That's true. Yeah. They could be what is that statue in the park with the guy on the horse?
San Louis.
Oh, King Louis.
That's
up
right.
in front of
That's
Art Museum.
In front of the Art Museum. They could be, let's see, what else could they be?
Well, you just have to go and find out.
Okay,
That's right.
I'll have to go. I just won't get the manicure that week. How's that?
Oh, that's true. Yes. Yeah.
Or the 2 Starbucks.
Oh, that's right.
Starbucks.
So Pilobolus, that's April 20th, a Saturday. Tickets at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. And then the second one is the Spring to Dance Festival, coming back for the 12th year. Talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, Spring to Dance really is one of Dance St. Louis's flagship programs. There are only 2 major dance festivals that happen in the country. One happens in the fall. It's called Fall for Dance, and it's hosted in New York. It's in October. And the other one, Spring to Dance, happens in the spring, and it's hosted in St. Louis. Spring to Dance is basically happens Memorial Weekend for 3 days. Over 30 companies converge in St. Louis, nationally and internationally, and the community just gets to see all these myriad of styles from tap to hip hop to ballet to contemporary to aerial to theater dance, and they just go from one theater to the other, and it's like a buffet pretty much. So you have everything for everything. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
You've got like the Boston Ballet, the Chicago Human Rhythm Project, DanceWorks Chicago, the Eisenhower Dance of Detroit, Joffrey Ballet, Big Muddy Dance Company, Missouri Contemporary Ballet, Mostly Tap, Nashville Ballet, St. Louis Ballet, San Francisco Ballet, Washington Ballet, Tulsa Ballet. 30 groups coming, and that's May 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Memorial Day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And look at this nightly ticket, the Lee Theater performances, $5. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, that's just like getting one finger done at
$20 at the Anheuser-Busch Performance Hall,
tell
the main
you.
stage.
But the best deal though is the 3-day package.
Yes, the best deal is a 3-day package because you get it in a discounted price and you get to see 3 different shows
Yeah.
every night, and you just get to experience everything that the festival has to offer.
Again, up at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center, because they have a variety of performance theaters up there.
Well, there are 2 theaters in there: a Lee Theater and the Anheuser-Busch Theater. Lee Theater seats 300, Anheuser-Busch seats 1,500. And then not only that, we have performances happening at the lobby. We call it the Amarin Terrace Lobby performances. So as soon as you enter the facility, you're immersed already in dance.
Wow, that's great. And I like the timing. Starts at 5:30. You've got 6 o'clock. You've got 7:30. I think this is wonderful.
Yeah, and for most people in St. Louis, this is really the only dance they see for the year. So, I mean, that's the feedback that we get, and they always look forward to it. And we always encourage, like, a lot more people to come and see it. Bring your families and have a family affair.
Well, this sounds like a great way to introduce, children to overall dance, so that they can look at something and say, you know what, I think I want to do that.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then you have a continuation program. I shouldn't say maybe a continuation program, a program through Dance St. Louis that goes into the high schools.
Oh, yeah. Our dance residency program is really one of the more robust education programs in the city. In fact, I always claim that because it's true. A lot of the other cultural institutions in town have patterned their education programs after Dance St. Louis's.
Interesting.
Education residency program, because the difference is because Dance St. Louis as a presenting organization, they don't have a company, they don't have an in-house company that could on a day-to-day basis go to different schools. So what we try to do is we select the companies that are coming, and then we ask them to bring in resident artists or resident teaching artists, and we house them for 3 weeks. And they take over essentially the arts classes in each of these high school and middle school partner schools that we have. And it's another opportunity for the students and the teachers as well, because otherwise they really wouldn't be able to, just for varied reasons, whether it's financial or transportation or just the lack of guidance or resources, for them to be able to experience this. Like just the last residency we had teaching artists from London, from Company Wayne McGregor and Royal Ballet that are housed in these schools for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it was just an eye-opening and a real life-changing experience for a lot of them.
So those kids who are in those, what I'm going to call master classes, or working with these performers, what kinds of things do they talk about? What kinds of things do they do?
Well, a lot of the partner schools that we have, speaking of cultural institutions in St. Louis, surprisingly, a lot of these schools that we have, they have existing arts. It's an existing arts school. So they already have existing dance classes in each of those schools. So what we do is we basically take over for 3 weeks. We just put the teaching artists in place of their actual teacher so that they could learn whatever that type of style or dance that they are in session for that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some, what I would call awards at the end, or?
You might be talking about another component of the education residency program, which we call the Career Dance Awards.
That's it.
It's another program that Dance St. Louis essentially mentors those kids that are showing real bright future or promise or interest in dance and pursuing it more on a professional level after they graduate from high school. So we ask them to basically audition or submit applications for us, and we select an independent adjudicators with our board members and other dance professionals, and they read through their essay on why they want to continue and what dance means to them, and a lot of them are really deep and profound, and we select few of them and we mentor them. We help them financially. We help them by making sure that they are tied up to a counselor, and just helping them through the path that they want to pursue. professionally.
great.
That is
great.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you all ever do a collaboration with the Catherine Dunham group over in East St. Louis?
We've done some before, and they've always been like part of like the existing like dance community.
Yes.
We try to be as out there as possible. There's so many of them. So
But they're really one of the more outstanding, more profound groups.
Right.
And like I said, they've been around forever.
Yep.
And didn't we have someone from the Catherine Dunham
We haven't
Dance
yet.
Theater? We
No.
haven't? Okay.
We talked about them when we were talking about the House of Miles, East St. Louis.
That's right. Exactly.
Now, Christopher, I have a question as it relates to, say you have a youngster who's been in dance, started early in dance, and is showing some promise, and I don't know how, maybe they're 8 or 10 or 12 years old. What recommendations would you give to that youngster if they had an aspiration to become a professional dancer?
keep taking classes. That's really what you need to do. A lot of times, a dream or an aspiration can get brushed aside because there are not enough opportunities available. In a city like St. Louis, there are enough opportunities, whether it's through programs like Dance St. Louis or through organizations like COCA. If you continue and you just continue taking classes, you're not gonna know by 12 or 13 that you're gonna be really, really great. But if you just stick to it, then you might end up being who you really want to be. So,
and I have kind of a question as it relates to ballet dancers versus like tap versus hip hop. There's a wide variety of styles. Can a ballet dancer like yourself, do you do tap? Do you do hip hop? Or are you kind of specialize in one particular
classical arts, as they say, is the foundation of a lot of things. As a classical dancer, our foundation is so solid that we can easily transition into any style that we can. It's just like opera singers. It's just because you learn the technique. And if you really break it down, all these dance styles are just based on the classical technique and classical foundation, just presented and broken down differently.
That's right.
So if your classical foundation is really strong, it's for sure you can do anything.
I had a friend when I was at Wash U. I took dance for many, many years and actually danced with a modern dance company out in San Francisco for a number of years. Yeah, when I lived out there. But this guy was so limber.
Right.
And you really never would have guessed that he would have been a dancer because he was kind of a large guy.
Right.
But he took dance with me. And then eventually he went on to become a world-class pediatrician in Boston. And he and his wife would travel all over the world to do just basic ballroom dancing.
Oh, nice.
And he would go to Argentina. Of course, he had the money to do that kind of stuff because he was, a world-class pediatrician. But he and his wife, and they would just go do ballroom dancing all over the world.
And that's something, it's just like being a musician. It's something you can do as you get older.
Right.
You can still enjoy it, maybe not in that same vein,
Sure,
but a little bit differently.
Yeah, and he lost so much weight. It was amazing that, and when I asked him one time how he lost so much weight, he said just from dancing, just from ballroom dancing. He
Good for
trimmed
him,
down,
yeah.
he slimmed down, and that was
being active
Yep,
and all that.
being
Yep.
active. But I can remember at Wash U, we started there together, and the teacher, who's a nice German lady, she looked at him and she says, "You will never be a professional dancer."
And then there you go. He just stuck to it, and
And he was kind of like, "Well, okay,
Whatever,
whatever, dear."
Well, we say we've always said like all of us are dancers.
That's right.
The day-to-day movements that we do, we just don't know it. It's dance. Like the fact that I'm reaching this cup is already a movement. So we just don't know it. Dancers just hone it and practice it the same thing 8 hours a day. But we stand up. The fact that I'm moving this one is putting this headpiece on. It's a movement already.
You all just make it look more glamorous,
There
more
you go.
glorious. See, like me with my coffee cup.
There you go.
Well, it's more
Right.
fluid.
Right.
That's right.
It's more fluid. And when, it's like ice dancing or ice skaters.
Just the fact that you're like twinkling your fingers right now.
You're twinkling your
it's a
fingers.
movement. If I'm a choreographer, I could say, for counts 1 to 8, you can do that. And
See?
then it's a choreography. It's a step already.
And see, you all make fun of me with my rapping. See, they call me one bar rapper. They don't appreciate the fact that I may be one bar rapper, but boy, am I good at that one bar.
Then there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So we've got coming up on April 20th, that's Saturday, we have the Pilobolus, and you can get tickets at the ticket office at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. And then Spring to Dance, May 23 through 25, also at the Two Hill. Christopher, thank you for coming in
Oh, you're
today.
very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it. This
Yes.
is Arnold Stricker.
What a
Vincent.
joy.
Thank you.
You're listening to KWRHLP 92.9 FM, your community radio station in Webster Groves, Missouri.